So let's talk about the reasons why people are not engaged at work, why they're not enthusiastic, why they don't like to work. So one of the reasons is over regulation. The more we regulate, the less creative people can be. The more we regulate, the less people can think. Regulation means that people just have to do as they're told. And that is frustrating. But because we are human beings, as human beings, we want to be creative. We want to do something. We want to think. We want to use our brain to do stuff. But if we regulate everything from A to Z, there's no creativity. There's no liberty. And that's one of the biggest problems. And I give you an example. Let's talk about traffic. What is the most difficult, the most dangerous situation in traffic? It's the intersection. It's the intersection where two cars drive in different directions and we have to cross each other. That's the most dangerous situation. And how do we handle the situation? Well, in most places, most intersections are regulated. We put traffic lights. So traffic lights tell us what to do. If it's yellow, you have to slow down. When it's red, you have to stop. When it's green, you can go. Everything is organized. Everything is regulated. A traffic light system is a huge operation. It needs maintenance. It needs electricity. It needs specialists who know how everything works. It's a whole system. So if one traffic light is out of order, it has an impact on all the other traffic lights, on the whole traffic system. So this is a huge operation. Now, 70 to 80% of intersections in the world, that's what I read, are regulated with traffic lights. Now there's another way how we can regulate it. Or how we not regulate, but how we can handle these problems of intersections. It's with a roundabout. And now I ask you a question. Think about it. What do you do when you are at a red light? What are people doing when they're at a red light? They stop the car. And after that, what do they do? Look around once at a traffic stop. Look around. All the people take their phone out and they start scrolling. They're sitting in a car, in front is red. So they take their phone out and they start scrolling. They're going on Instagram, they're going on TikTok, whatever. Maybe they check their messages, maybe they go and read their emails because that's what they can do. They have time now. It's red. They don't have to think about the traffic anymore. The traffic light tells them what to do. So they're not engaged anymore. They're not in traffic anymore. They step outside the traffic into the virtual world. And they wait till it's green. And eventually they see that it's green and they put their phone away and they drive. Or often what happens is that the guy behind us sees that it's green and he honks quick the car and be like, oh yeah, right, it's green. And we put the phone down and we start driving. And we're newly engaged in the traffic. So we step out quick for a moment and we go back in. We were not engaged anymore because everything is regulated. Now let's look at the roundabout. At the roundabout, did you ever see somebody driving to a roundabout who wants to enter a roundabout and he takes his phone out? I don't think so. You only do that if you're suicidal. I mean, nobody takes his phone out before he drives into a roundabout. What do? You slow down, you start thinking, you look left, you look, is somebody coming? You start thinking, you start assessing the situation. You're like, okay, shall I go in now? Shall I wait till the car passes? You're fully engaged. You're fully engaged in the traffic. And now you know what? Where do you think happen more accidents? At intersection with red lights or where there are roundabouts? and you guessed it probably since I asked this way, there are much more accidents at intersections with red lights. Much more. Roundabouts are much more secure. And you know what that shows? It shows that people are able to handle complex situation on their own without being told how to do it, without having regulated systems who order them exactly what to do. And that's the same at work. People are capable. So stop regulating everything at work. Of course, there are situations where you need a checklist in a hospital, maybe in an airplane, but stop regulating everything. It takes away all the fun. People they want to think, they want to contribute, they want to be creative. And if you regulate everything, humans are just there to do as they're told. And do you think this is really fulfilling? If you just have to do what you're told? It's not. And then you ask yourself and you wonder, why are my employees not engaged at work? Well, duh, if they're just have to do what they're told, this is not really engaging. So reflect about your company and start thinking, where do I have traffic lights that I could replace with roundabouts at my job, in our company? And let people more freedom. Let them more liberty to make decisions. And you know what? You will be surprised. They probably come up with better solutions than you ever thought.